All right, Clint. Well, thanks for hopping on, dude. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
We had to strap you in and make you get on a call. No, I'm just kidding. But happy
Yeah,
to
no problem.
learn about your experience. So why don't you give a brief intro, who you are, what your business is, where you guys are located, all that stuff.
Yeah, sounds good. So we're a Seattle-based mold remediation company. We've done this well, I've done this for probably 7 years now.
Okay.
Um, yeah, we've been in the mold business for a while out here.
Nice. Lots of mold.
Yep.
And the reason I think you ended up reaching out to Rylan and the team was you realized that the next level of growth was being kind of plateaued by your current team. Is that fair to say?
For sure. Like what got me interested in reaching out for some extra help in hiring is that as we've been scaling and growing, um, there's a very key hire that I needed to make. And I knew that if this role wasn't filled correctly, I mean, it would make all the difference, right?
Yeah,
Success or fail. Like this is a
totally.
very key role in it. And I had enough experience in the past trying to hire on my own that that didn't work out most of the time, you know.
Mhm.
And so I knew I needed to do something different. Heard about you guys and thought I'd give you a shot.
Cool. I love it. So you said, you obviously you'd hired in your business before. It's something you'll continue to do. Um, Prior to kind of going through some of, I guess, our methodology, how would you describe your approach to hiring? Was it a lot of like roll the dice, hope it works out, or like walk me through what that was like for you?
Yeah, it wasn't great, which is funny because I have experience working for corporations and being a part of their hiring process and for none of that really I didn't apply any of that I learned for some reason. But it was basically like I would throw an ad out there on Indeed, throw it into the ether, and then just see what came. And I would be the one that was calling them all. I would call, make an initial phone call, talk to them, and then maybe do a second round if I liked them on the ones that I liked, a little more in depth.
Yeah.
Um, and then maybe I'd bring them out for like on the job day. And
Okay.
that was it. I didn't really have a plan. I was like, well, I'll just talk to them and I'll try and make clear what the role is. And if they seem interested and seem like they've got good qualifications, I'll give it a shot. And
Okay.
yeah, you never knew. And I felt like you would never know until you got them on the job working. Like there was no way to know really.
Yeah. It was just like, man, let's throw it on black, hope it works out. And if it doesn't, I guess we'll go back to the drawing board.
Right, try again.
Yeah. How was that, just out of curiosity, like how was that affecting, looking back on it now, how do you think that was affecting you, the business, the growth, all that stuff?
I mean, it was really hard
Mm,
because it was a roll of the dice. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it was like I kind of like this person. They seem like they've got qualifications. They've told me all the right answers, but you know, they could totally not work out. And a lot of times they wouldn't, right? You'd get them
Mm,
on the job. They didn't understand what we were about, or I didn't understand the actual, qualifications they had or didn't have. And turnover historically, my company has been pretty high.
mm,
So which is never good, right? Turnover is never good. It's
yeah.
expensive. It's
It's,
hard. It's a drain on morale. I mean, obviously, it got me to the point where like I was looking for something else.
yeah. Totally. Totally. So, and then, so yeah, so that's kind of where you were, decided to reach out. Tell me about what was it like kind of learning about, I guess, kind of the methodology and that process of starting to apply it to your business. Like, just kind of walk me through what your experience was like, what your impressions were. Were you skeptical or,
Yeah, right. I mean, I've always got a healthy level of skepticism, right? So I want to see it to believe it. And I would say going into it at first, I mean, it was kind of a like good impression from the beginning because what I saw as I started meeting with Ryland was that there is a system to hiring, right? And
hmm.
there's a very methodical, thought out way to think about who you're hiring and what you absolutely need to have in this person,
Yep.
and then to draft questions, interview questions based around those needs. And any like we can go into more of those details, but there's a very well thought out method to vetting people. And I didn't know what that was, right? And that's what I really was like, wow, like, okay, this, yeah. 'Cause I feel like you gotta have that. Like especially for a key role, like you've got to know as much as you can possibly know of that person before rolling the dice on like on a super important hire like we had. We were hiring for our operations manager for like the company. So,
Yeah, it's like huge, almost like, yeah, COO level hire.
yep,
You get the right person, they bring millions in return. You get the wrong
yep,
person, they really set you back on missing out on those millions.
yep,
So
yep.
yeah, that's key. No, I think you're in a lot of good company. I think most, unless you've like hyper fixated on how to like vet and hire people, which most business owners don't have the time nor the skill
No.
set, or is it a priority enough? So very good company there. But now feeling a little bit more empowered. Tell me now, what's the consequence of starting to, you put this into place? You got a great guy on the team. What's that been like?
Yeah, we did. I mean, so that's kind of the end of the story is, yeah, we found a great guy. He was a really high percentage match. Put him through the ringer on interviews. And that was the difference too, is like my interviews were, 20 to 40 minutes of me I was just kind of chatting, right? They weren't directed. And it turned into, we had probably three different interviews with him of, nearly an hour each of like good questions that made him think and that made him, get down to honest. Because you can only BS for so long.
Totally.
And
No, I hear
eventually
you.
you can, you start to see through some of those holes and you start to see what the person's actually experience wise. And so it's just interesting to be a part of that really solid interviewing process. And again, anyone people can have more or less interview skills, but just having that, like, the avatar built out and your questions built out and rating and your ranking and plugging in numbers and just having the data in front of me, that was just so helpful. And like, now I just see it going forward. I'll even do this for like the next sales guy I hire, for the next,
Totally.
even some text, it might not be as extensive. It might be
Yeah.
a dumbed down version, but there's a framework now for hiring that, like, why wouldn't you use, right? And that's just, you guys gave me the tools and then understanding of like what real hiring should be. I thought,
Yeah. Total paradigm shifting. It sounds like, I'm like,
yeah,
couldn't
totally.
even do it, couldn't fathom doing it a different way now.
Right. It's like,
Oh.
I know mold. I don't know hiring, right?
Yeah.
So there's definitely, we're all, yeah, we've got skills in our own lanes, and definitely good to learn these skills.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, now that this guy's been with you for a little bit, what do you anticipate is kind of like going to be the impact and return on the business after even just like this one key hire?
Yeah. I mean, it's been 2 months now that he's been on, I think. So there's a lot. We're still growing, but like, the impact's been immediate. Like,
Mm,
he's come in, we've already made some needed and key shifts in the team that we have, the team of techs, right, that
totally.
he manages. Like, he's already come in and put his experience to work, making adjustments in the team dynamic,
Cool.
letting somebody go that really we knew he kind of needed to let go for a while, but he saw it right away and kind of was like, yeah, this guy's got to go.
Let's move on. Yeah.
So it's the culture. I've said this to him and my other kind of lead operations guy, is like, we currently have the best operations team that we've ever had in the seven
Mm,
years. And it literally happened within a couple months of having him on.
wow.
And in a big part because of him. So
That's awesome.
it's been big.
Yeah. I think that's a testament though, because when you make the right key hire, they do come in and make an immediate impact. It's not, I mean, obviously he's going to continue to make impacts, and I'm sure you've got lots of initiatives that you're working on. But he comes in, immediately identifies someone's below the floor. Let's move on. Let's start raising the floor. We start building better systems, and it's just cool to hear, because
Yeah.
that, as a business owner for you, I'm sure it's like, okay, I can start to not have to stress on that aspect of the business as much. And now I can work on growing it and finding more customers and all the other problems that you have to deal with.
Right, right. Like operations is the thing I don't want to have to think about because I am more in the sales avenue and running the business and kind of the higher end of like big picture stuff. And
Totally.
day-to-day operations I don't want to think about. And
Yeah.
so to have him kind of come in and hit the ground running. And that's the other thing I would say is it not only helped me know that this person was a good fit, but it helped the person understand the job, which is historically it was not the case. People came in not knowing very much about what we did, what the operations actually looked like, and through this more intensive interview system, he got to know us too,
Yeah.
which helped him come in and make these impacts early. So
Yeah.
it's just been good all the way around. I mean, there's a reason I'm willing to do this interview with you, right?
Yeah.
So
I
it's
love
been
it.
a good experience.
Well, I appreciate it, Klint. Well, last question for you. Let's say somebody's sitting on the fence, maybe they're watching this and they're considering, okay, do I do this, or I just kind of get away with it, still doing it on my own. What advice would you give them?
I would say count the cost of hiring the wrong person because I know you've done it. I know I've done it a million times, right? Like count the cost and add it up, right? Because there's obviously a big cost in hiring the wrong person. And even if you just give this a try and learn some of these principles, it's going to be value add. So I'd say
Love
just
it. Awesome. Well, Klint, I appreciate it, man. I can't wait to hear, 6 months, a year down the line, how much your business has grown as a consequence of learning some of these things. So
for
thanks,
sure.
thanks for your time.
Thanks, Brighton.